Welcome to my economic class. What is a problem of choice? As we all know, our wants are unlimited, but the resources are scarce. So, every consumer like us has to choose among different combination of the goods that gives him the maximum satisfaction. This is called the problem of choice. It depends upon two factors. The first one is likes or preference of the consumer, whether he prefers tea or he prefers coffee, like that. Second one is what the consumer can afford to buy, or is it possible to buy goods and services? This depends upon two factors, that is the price of the goods and income of the consumer. With the given price of the goods and income of the consumer, based on the taste or preference of the consumer, he has to choose among different combination of the goods that gives him the maximum satisfaction. This is called the problem of choice. What is utility? Utility is the want satisfying power of a commodity or usefulness of a commodity. For example, a person who is starving eats a piece of an apple. Utility that he gets from that piece is higher. When he takes another bite, utility will be less as compared to the first piece. So it is a subjective concept. It means the want satisfying power of a commodity. Warm clothes give more utility in winter than in summer. Then different individual can get different level of utility from the same commodity based on their taste and preferences. Another feature of the utility is utility that an individual get from the commodity change with the change in the place and time. In summer, we prefer cool drinks, but in winter, the utility of a soup or a tea is more than in summer. Two different approaches that explain the consumer behavior is cardinal utility analysis and ordinal utility analysis. In this video, we can discuss the cardinal utility analysis. Cardinal utility analysis. Cardinal utility analysis states that utility or satisfaction can be measured in numbers. We can measure the utility or satisfaction the consumer derive from a commodity. The key features are, first one is measurability. We already told that utility can be measured in numerical units like 1, 2, 3, etc. Next feature is additivity. All the utilities can be added together to find total utility. It is possible to add all the utilities. Third feature is comparison. It is also possible to compare the utility levels between different goods. These are the important features of cardinal utility analysis. Total utility and marginal utility are the two measures of utility in the cardinal utility analysis. Total utility means the total satisfaction derived from the consuming a given amount of particular commodity. Here the commodity is denoted by X. TUN refers to total utility derived from consuming n units of commodity X. For example, X is a apple. N units of X, which means 5 apples, 6 apples, like that. Then marginal utility means the change in the total utility due to consumption of additional unit of a commodity, or the utility we get from consumption of additional unit of a commodity. We can discuss with the help of a table. This table shows the total utility and marginal utility derived from the consumption of various amounts of a commodity. For example, apple. One apple gives the total utility of 10. Then 2 apples give the total utility of 16. Then 3 apples give the total utility of 20. Then 4 apples give the total utility of 22. Here the total utility is increasing from 10 to 16, 16 to 20 and 20 to 22. The total utility is increasing but at a decreasing rate, because from the 10 to 16, the 6 increase in total utility is 6. From 16 to 20, the increase in total utility is 4 only. 16 to 20. Then 20 to 22, the increase in total utility is only 2. So the total utility is increasing but at a diminishing rate. This is because of a diminishing marginal utility. After that, total utility remain constant. After consuming 5 apples, the total utility derived from the consumption of 5 apples remain same. That is why the total utility is 22. Then the total utility declines to 20, because more and more of the commodity, less utility derived from the consumption of that commodity. So total utility declines. So the total utility is increasing at an increasing rate, then it remains constant, then it starts falling. Then marginal utility. Marginal utility diminishes with increase in the consumption of a commodity from 10 to 6, then 6 to 4, then 4 to 2, then it becomes 0 and it becomes negative. This is because having obtained some amount of the commodity, the desire of the consumer to have more of it become weaker. That's why marginal utility is diminishing with a increase in the consumption of the commodity. When we add the marginal utilities, we will get the total utility. Total utility of 6 apple is equal to 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 0 plus minus 2 is equal to 20. Then the total utility of 5 apples is equal to 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 0 is equal to 22. Like that. Marginal utility of n apples is equal to the total utility of n apples minus the total utility of n minus 1 apples, that is the previous number. That is marginal utility of 5 apples is equal to the total utility of 5 apples minus the total utility of 4 apples. That is 22 minus 22 is equal to 0. Based on the table, we can draw the total utility curve and a marginal utility curve. First, draw the x-axis. It shows the quantity of a commodity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then draw the y-axis. It shows the total utility and marginal utility. Two, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Then negative values. Minus 2, minus 4, minus 6 and minus 8. One apple gives the total utility of 10 here. Then 2 apples give the total utility 16 here. Then 3 apples give the total utility of 20. Here. Then 4 apple give the total utility of 22. Here 5 apples give the total utility of 22 itself. Then 6 apples give the total utility of 20. Here. Join all these points, we will get a total utility curve. Total utility is increasing at a decreasing rate, then it remains constant and it starts falling. This is a total utility curve. Then marginal utility. At first, the marginal utility is 10. Here. Then marginal utility is 6. Here. Then marginal utility is 4. Then marginal utility is 2. Marginal utility 0. Then marginal utility becomes negative. Negative 2. Join all these points, we will get a diminishing or decreasing marginal utility curve. This is marginal utility curve. Law of diminishing marginal utility. This is an important law and which was first used by Hermann Heinrich Gaussen. It is also known as the Gaussen's first law, but it was popularized by Alfred Marshall. This law states that the marginal utility from consuming each additional unit of a commodity declines as its consumption increases, while keeping the consumption of other commodities constant. We already discussed that marginal utility from the additional unit of a commodity declines and the negative sloping marginal utility curve. How to derive a demand curve in the case of a single commodity? Cardinal utility analysis can be used to derive the demand curve. What is a demand? Demand is the ability and willingness to pay for a commodity, or the quantity of a commodity that the consumer is willing to buy and is able to afford, given the prices of the goods and income of the consumer. The demand for a commodity depends upon number of factors. The most important factor is price itself. When the price increases, the demand decreases. The price decreases, the demand increases. Income of the consumer, taste and preference of the consumer, and the prices of other commodities like substitutes. For example, tea and coffee. If the price of the tea increases, the demand for the coffee increases because both are substitutes. Then complementary goods like bread and butter. When the price of the bread is increases, the demand for butter decreases because both are complementary goods. Demand curve is the graphical representation of various quantities of a commodity that the consumer is willing to buy at a different price level. Here we assume the income of the consumer and the price of the other commodities remain constant. This table shows the relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. There is an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. When the price of the commodity increases, the demand decreases. When the price of the commodity decreases, the demand increases. Here the price is 50, nobody demands it. And the price is 40, the quantity demanded is 5. The price is 30, quantity demanded increases from 5 to 15. Then price is 20, the quantity demanded again increases. Then price is 10, quantity demanded is 55. Price is 0 or any item is free, then everyone will demands it, or here the 100 is the quantity demanded. So there is an inverse relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Based on the table, we can draw the demand curve. First, draw the x-axis. X-axis measures quantity demanded for a commodity. $10, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80, $90 and $100. Then draw the y-axis. Y-axis measures price. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. When the price is 50, the demand is 0 here. When the price is 40, the demand is 5. Here, when the price is 30, the demand is 15. Here, when the price is 20, the demand is 30. When the price is 10, the demand is 55. When the price is 0, the demand is 100. Join all these points, we will get a negative sloping demand curve. What is the relationship between law of diminishing marginal utility and law of demand? We already discussed that each additional unit of a commodity provides lower marginal utility. So, the individual is not willing to pay for each additional unit. So, their demand will be less for that commodity. This results in downward sloping demand curve.